It's crazy to think that Dumb Money is Paul Dano's first lead role.
Yo, what up, everybody? Roaring Kitty here.
He's been in Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, Where the Wild Things Are, Looper, Prisoners, 12 Years a Slave, Love and Mercy, Okja, The Guilty, The Batman, The Fablemans, and then obviously now Dumb Money as his first lead role. And it's crazy to think that he's one of my favorite working actors today, and this is the first time being in the lead. Anyways, his performance aside, Dumb Money is a really funny film, but aside from that, it didn't really do much for me. Before we get into all of my thoughts on Dumb Money, let me know you guys thought of Dumb Money in the comments down below. Both always wasting more time, let's get right into it. Like I said, this movie is absolutely hilarious, and I think there are a bunch of major writing flaws, but on a level of just being hilarious, I think the cast does an awesome job with a script that is fairly lackluster in terms of just bringing real character development to anything. I'm telling you guys, this cast list goes on forever and ever. Obviously, Paul Dano, and you have Shailene Woodley, Pete Davidson, Seth Rogen, Sebastian Stan, American Ferrera, Dane DeHaan, which he like randomly pulls down his mask in the middle of this movie, and then I was so surprised it was him. Someone in the theater just yelled out Green Goblin. Nick Offerman, Anthony Ramos, Vincent D'Onofrio, and a bunch of other cool little cameos throughout the film. And again, the cast does an awesome job, and not all of them are on the screen at the same time. It's a very big movie in terms of covering different people because they have to talk about the impact of this GameStop incident. And this incident as a whole is really interesting to me because of how quickly this movie was made. The GameStop incident happened early January 2021, I believe, and all of this stuff about the main character and all of this backstory and this lore that we find out about all happened within like the height of the pandemic in 2020. And this movie follows a bunch of different characters and different points of their lives and just showing the true impact of the pandemic. And I feel like no movie has ever really done that so far. This movie comes out about, I think, 2.5 years after the actual incident of the short squeeze at GameStop happened. And so the fact that they were able to capture this whole environment and just create a movie that really takes you back to that moment in time, I think that's a really big thing to do. And I think that also creates a sense of relatability to all of the characters and also everyone in the theater. My theater experience for this movie was absolutely awesome. There were people of all ages at this early screening and everyone was laughing their ass off. But I will say where this movie has its biggest fault, and like I said before, it's just the character work is very, very underwhelming. And I think it's because what it comes in at just under 2 hours, but it's also covering a lot of ground in terms of characters you really want to care about, but they have to make the impact of the GME short stock squeeze grand enough for us to care about all of these characters. That's a really hard thing to do in such a short amount of time. So I think they did a good enough job by casting characters and actors that are very likable and just have a lot of charisma, but on the end of this script it is lacking a lot. The biggest thing is there's so many characters but so few through lines within the characters and the story. It feels like more of these characters that yes are funny, but they just are used as kind of an evidence point in the film and they really have no real push forward to the plot. The mediocre writing for these characters also creates a mediocre build up to that final court hearing of GME's short stock squeeze, then all of the hedge fund people. It all just feels very weirdly paced, and again, I think it's because of the structure and the style of this film. But I will say, even though the pacing was a little bit off because of the style, I really enjoyed the style. It's kind of a mix of pacing and Blackberry, but a shooting style of something like The Wolf of Wall Street. And obviously, I'm going to inherently make those comparisons because it is a movie about Wall Street, but I think that's the style you need. You need something very fast-paced, and then obviously you can go for a documentary feel like Blackberry or just something regularly shot like a movie like The Wolf of Wall Street. And on a strictly visual style, this doesn't do anything super different, but in terms of the way that the movie is paced, it conveys information. It does feel very fast, and that's what I really, really enjoyed. But again, I just had a lot of fun with this movie. I know there are flaws, but I left the theater smiling and I had a great time, and I think a lot of people will as well. And that wraps up my thoughts on Dumb Money. Again, let me know what you guys thought of this movie in the comments down below, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my other movie or TV show reviews, reactions, or breakdowns. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.